A freshman athlete collapsed during a training session his coach was running. What makes this case different from a typical sports tragedy is what prosecutors say the coach already knew before that session ever started. Former strength and conditioning coach Mark Kulbis was charged in the death of Calvin C.J. Dickey Jr., a freshman athlete, with prosecutors alleging Kulbis deliberately forced Dickey to perform 100 up-downs, despite knowing about his sickle cell trait. So what exactly is sickle cell trait, and why would knowing about it change everything about how a coach should run a training session? Sickle cell trait is a genetic condition where a person carries one copy of the gene associated with sickle cell disease, without having the full disease itself. People with the trait are generally healthy in daily life, but under specific conditions, intense physical exertion, dehydration, high altitude, or extreme heat, the trait can trigger a serious medical emergency where red blood cells change shape and block blood flow, sometimes fatally. This risk is well documented within athletics specifically, to the point where many sports organizations require screening and specific training modifications for athletes known to carry the trait. That documented risk is exactly why this case has drawn the attention it has. If the dangers of intense exertion for someone with sickle cell trait are this well established within athletic training, how does a case like this happen at all? Prosecutors allege the answer comes down to a coach who had the information necessary to protect Dickey and chose to disregard it anyway, pushing him through an intense exercise, 100 up-downs, a demanding full-body exercise combining a sprint, a drop to the ground, and an explosive return to standing, repeated at a volume that would be taxing for any athlete and potentially catastrophic for one with a known risk factor this serious. That gap between known protocol and alleged practice is where this case becomes genuinely difficult to understand from the outside. Athletic organizations do not leave this kind of risk to guesswork. Screening for sickle cell trait has become standard practice across many levels of organized sports, specifically because previous tragedies revealed how dangerous the combination of intense exertion and an undetected or ignored trait can be. A program with proper screening in place should, in theory, prevent exactly this outcome, which raises hard questions about whether the information reached the coach, and if it did, why it apparently failed to change how that training session was run. Cases involving athletic deaths tied to known, pre-existing medical conditions tend to hinge on a specific legal question that separates a tragic accident from potential criminal liability. Did the person responsible for the athlete's safety know about the risk? And did they act with disregard for that known risk anyway? An athlete collapsing during training without any known underlying condition might be treated as a devastating accident. An athlete collapsing after a coach who reportedly knew about a documented, potentially fatal risk factor pushed them through an exercise specifically likely to trigger that exact risk becomes a very different kind of case in the eyes of prosecutors. The specific number cited in this case, 100 up-downs, is worth understanding in context. Up-downs are commonly used in athletic conditioning precisely because they are demanding, combining cardiovascular exertion with full-body movement in a short amount of time. A volume of 100 repetitions represents a genuinely extreme conditioning session by almost any standard, the kind of workload that raises questions about training judgment even for athletes without any known risk factors, let alone for an athlete whose medical history reportedly made that specific kind of extreme exertion especially dangerous. Athletic programs across the country have increasingly implemented specific safeguards for athletes known to carry sickle cell trait, including modified training protocols, closer monitoring during intense conditioning sessions, and mandatory rest and hydration breaks built directly into training plans. These safeguards exist specifically because the medical community has documented enough cases of sickle cell trait-related deaths in athletic settings to treat the risk as serious and preventable, provided coaches and training staff actually follow the protocols designed to manage it. The legal proceedings ahead will likely focus on far more than what happened during a single workout. Investigators and attorneys are expected to examine the entire chain of decisions leading up to that day, including how medical information was collected, who had access to it, whether warnings were clearly communicated, and what actions were taken once the athlete began showing signs of distress. Each of those details may become important in determining not only individual responsibility, but whether the systems designed to protect athletes functioned the way they were intended to. Another question likely to receive attention is how athletic programs balance pushing athletes to improve with recognizing the point at which physical stress becomes a medical emergency. Coaches are often expected to motivate athletes to push through fatigue, but medical experts consistently note that certain warning signs, particularly in athletes with known underlying conditions, require an immediate change in approach. Distinguishing determination from danger is one of the most important responsibilities anyone supervising strenuous physical activity carries. The case also highlights the growing importance of emergency preparedness in youth athletics. Many schools and sports organizations now require emergency action plans, regular staff training, and clear procedures for responding to athletes in medical distress. Those plans are only effective, however, if every member of the coaching and medical staff understands both the protocols themselves and the medical histories of the athletes under their supervision. Even well-written policies can fail if they are not consistently followed in real-world situations. Medical professionals have long emphasized that conditions affecting red blood cells, the heart, or other underlying health issues do not automatically prevent someone from participating in sports. In many cases, athletes safely compete at high levels with proper medical guidance, individualized training adjustments, adequate hydration, appropriate rest periods, and close monitoring when necessary. The key issue is not simply identifying a condition, but ensuring that everyone responsible for an athlete's care understands how that condition may affect training decisions. For parents, the case serves as a reminder that communication cannot end once medical forms are submitted. While organizations have a responsibility to maintain and share critical health information appropriately, many families also choose to speak directly with coaches, athletic trainers, and school staff to make sure important medical conditions are understood before practices and competitions begin. Open communication between families and athletic programs can provide an additional layer of protection, particularly for athletes with known health risks. Youth sports provide countless benefits, from building discipline and teamwork to developing confidence and healthy habits. Cases like this are not an argument against competitive athletics. They are a reminder that athlete safety and athletic performance must go hand in hand. The best programs know when medical judgment has to come before competitive demands. Ultimately, the courts will decide legal responsibility based on the evidence presented, and the allegations remain to be tested through that process. Regardless of the outcome, the case has already sparked important conversations about accountability, communication, and the responsibility coaches and athletic programs have to protect the athletes in their care. As the investigation and court proceedings continue, the findings may influence how schools and youth sports organizations handle medical screening, coach training, and emergency response protocols. The case serves as a reminder that safety policies only work when they are properly communicated and consistently followed. What are your thoughts? Do youth sports programs do enough to protect athletes with underlying medical conditions? Leave a comment below, subscribe for more in-depth coverage of important cases, and share this video with anyone involved in coaching or youth athletics.